Actually, every moment is the end of it, isn't it? Now is the end of it, unless we pick it up, and then it's the end of it. So we're just tired of this game now, you see, and we're now coming to this place of stopping to try also. Because individuality, personality, ego basically has to be picked up. It is not natural to us.
And I've found that it usually is accompanied with some kind of, in fact, I would say my experience is always, but like with a varying kind of like degree of obviousness or sensitivity or something, is like there's always some kind of constriction, like a not real like a vibration that's not. It's not rooted in like an openness. It's always got some kind of like conditional tightness or like and so it seems like that's faster that the thoughts dropped or the belief is not given, then suddenly the attention just falls upon the actual like accompanying kind of vibration that's there, and then that's allowed to so I guess it's just this like sometimes new example, inquiry. Nobody here, and it doesn't feel like there's an I that's found that there's nobody here anymore. It's just like it's just a knowing, and it's just like it's a kind of recognition that I think we spoke about this, like the awareness has the capacity and the intelligence to recognize there's nobody's here without creating a somebody to say there's nobody here. And then but then there could come a thought like, oh, so how did I ever believe that there was somebody here? And that one does belong to a somebody, and it's like always there's always a potential of that. So I guess like so just really hoping, well, not even.
And what's also very good is to see that, because when you see that there is nobody here, you see, then you find that it is known. Now, because the discovery is that there is nobody here, there can be a bit of a resistance to saying, I know this. You see?
That's exactly.
Because what is found is that there is nobody here, and the minute I say, I know this, I'm creating a somebody again. But this is not true ultimately. You see?
Yeah, it comes with a kind of a wariness to sound arrogant, to say like, to say to somebody, and also like in the Sangha, like to say, I found there's nobody here, feels like, oh God, you know,
they're spiritually ego.
Yeah, exactly.
But sometimes it can come from this place of not wanting to seem special. Sometimes it's also the fear of not wanting to sound inaccurate or something. You see? Because when you just say that there is nobody here, then the next sentence to be that I found, it sounds like you're contradicting yourself. So it just sounds, if not, it can be anywhere in the scale of fear of being arrogant or being seen. Any of that can be there. But the fact is that this that is aware is I. It's just that we've been misusing I for so long, as if it was an appearance in this play. That's why now to give it the right pointer, to give it the right label, seems to have attached to it either arrogance or, but it is I which is aware, or just not this I which we've been using I for in the past. We've used it for the body mind, we've used it for the ego for so long that now seems to be, when we say I, it means for many, especially in Advaita, it seems to imply ego. But actually the whole point of Advaita is to move the I from there to the reality of what it is, which is this awareness. You see, that is why it is the self.
Like,
See, while you contemplate the question, something is coming up to say.
something's coming. Something's coming. Sorry.
The whole distinction, not the whole distinction, but a big part of the distinction between Vedanta, traditional Vedanta or Advaita, and Buddhism was this. You see, where Buddha said that there is no self, the no self, and the self became then a label for the ego. So there is no self implied that there is no ego, there is no individual. And then Adi Shankara, he actually said that this no self, what you call the no self, is individuality in that. It is not even phenomenal. You see, although phenomena is an aspect of it, but it by itself is the self. You see? So the instant we say self, it implies I, the real I. See, but the problem is not just semantical, otherwise I would have just left it. The reason why I've been emphasizing it is because it becomes like that. When we have these self-inquiry experiences, you see, let me move the camera. When we have these experiences in self-inquiry, many times the mind will offer you a thought like, yes, I saw awareness now, you see, or I, and it brings the personal I back in that sense, and it makes awareness an experience or the product of some self-inquiry, you see, and it might to try and retain a distinction between I, and because once it is seen that I am awareness, it's pretty much game over. So even in that it tries to create a distinction and says, yes, I had a very nice experience of awareness and I saw nothing is happening to awareness, but how does that really help me in my day-to-day life? You see, so this me, it creates a distinction, and again the false me was given some belief. That is why it is important to see that it is I that is aware, just not the way we've been using I, but in reality it is I. There is only I. I am that, you see. It is not that is that. It is I am that. And as we get comfortable, not conceptually, but comfortable with this emptiness, with this nothingness being I, we must audit this for ourselves. Are we comfortable with this emptiness, nothingness, non-phenomenal I? You see? And as we get comfortable with this, then the urge to pick up the false I will not be so compelling and so strong. Otherwise, many times we have a recognition of it, and many times because it might even be fear more than arrogance that we rush to pick up a I, which is to call awareness I. So we pick up the false identity, presuming that to refer to ourselves as I is arrogant, but actually to refer to ourselves as anything other than I is arrogance. And there is some individual here which had the power to separate itself. Most truth, you see, as far as words can go. All of us should contemplate a little bit on this and why it feels like I am arrogant, I am awareness would be arrogant, because awareness is attributeless. How could awareness be arrogant?
I think it's because there's maybe some historic association between like making the statement, I can clearly see I am awareness, and like that somehow equates that saying that also means that I'm saying I am free of all conditioning, basically. And so it seems like kind of paradoxical that to like sincerely say to, I think this is what it is, like I think it's a fear where I might say to somebody, so say if I'm speaking to somebody, and like speaking about, say, like seeker identity, clear, you can see right now like who is the seeker, and therefore if the seeker does or doesn't exist, and if the seeker doesn't exist, which can be seen, then what's left to do, what are you waiting for, and this type of thing. And then 5 minutes later to get angry because somebody's like, you know, moved something that I left there, or like eaten something that I just, or whatever it is, you know what I mean?
The roommate.
Or even like, you know, get annoyed with a rickshaw driver or anything like that. Seems like, oh no, hang on a minute, I thought you said you were awareness, and who's, it's, I think it's that fit, to be honest. It's like this wanting to be like, if I make a statement like that, to be like consistent in it or something like that. I think that's maybe what it is. Some kind of like,
you want to see how awareness in the world in its dynamic aspect? Just look at your life. The idea is that I am operating from a space of imperfection, but this is all there is. It's all about you. This is how awareness is running its life. The play of consciousness is the play of awareness. There is no other perfection but just this. These mental benchmarks, even that is part of the complete perfection of this play. You see? To say that, okay, I said I am awareness, I am not seeking anymore. And I am telling you, why didn't you clean your plate? Yes. That's the play of the same, the one that is playing. Yeah.
I think there's something.
It doesn't have to express itself in a special form.
I think also is like.
Although having said that, many times this can become like an Advaita excuse for bad behavior. So I want to make that point also. I want to smell whether something is coming from a space of individuality or not. and then if go, then all the tools, all the pointings, everything is available. So those are just opportunities now. You see? So rather than beating yourself up about them, and they say, I had created such a nice, enlightened self-image, and just 5 minutes later, my anger, you see, it's my anger. Yeah. So then when we stop resenting ourselves for these things, when we start instead looking at them as opportunities, and saying conditioning still plays here. You see? It doesn't touch the truth in any way. And yet in this play, conditioning is a very seemingly vibrant force, is it? And then we just meet the moment as it is, openly. When we create ideas about how the one that is free or liberated should, then it creates a lot of troubles. And that is why it's good news that when we look back at the lives of all the sages, you find that everyone had a different expression. There's no constant thing you can say about them. You had sages in India who have cursed entire lineages and say, like you heard of the stories of Parshuram and all that, who destroyed entire lineages of gods and entire lineages of people in this realm. We had sages who one time a king or someone looked at his wife and he cursed him to remain like a stone for hundreds of years. Is that enlightened behavior? Is it? Yeah. So we can sugarcoat it later and say, oh, it was something or whatever. But it's just showing you. It's for me, they are encouraging stories to show you that in the play, appearances still come, anger can still come, lust can
Thought
still
I had
come.
anger. I've never cursed anyone to be.
Yeah, not yet anyway. So all these things can still come. Otherwise, so many in the Sangha can keep beating themselves up that if I'm free, then why do I still feel desire or lust or something? It's okay. It is the second punch of guilt, which is this: why am I like this? Why am I like this? Why? When will this go? Why am I not free? Which reinforces the false sense of I. Otherwise, just in the normal day-to-day flow of life, all these energetic sensations can come and they can go. But most importantly, I feel these are opportunities to see whether we are attached to some sort of a self-image, whether we want to be seen as someone who's free or not seeking anymore or something. As something that is also seeking them, isn't it? That's why life keeps giving us these opportunities. And this continues. So if anyone comes and says, in my life now, there is no more insight, there is nothing more that life shows me which allows me to look deeper, then I'd be very skeptical about these words. Because at least the experience here has been that it's constant, fresh insight, fresh expression. I don't feel that the waking state would come up if this potential for a deepening, potential for fresh insight was no longer there.